Welcome back to A Good Things Marriage Chats. I'm Tiara.
And I am Adrian. Welcome back to the chat room,
Welcome back,
everyone.
y'all.
Before we jump right on into our uncle that you see that we've adopted our uncle. Push buttons, go to websites, look at all the stuffs so that you can keep up with what we do. Now, as I said earlier, we have Uncle Pastor Dr. Petty here with us today to
Welcome
give
back, Dr.
us
Petty.
yeah, he's here to give us some more of his words of wisdom, and I'm here for it. So welcome, Dr. Petty. How are you?
Oh, I am doing great. I tell you, communication is the word of the hour.
Yes, it
For
is.
all the all the things because it affects the children, it affects everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, sweet. Tell us what we're talking about with Dr. Petty today.
Yeah, so we're just going to do a little communication 101. We want to start with some basics, because as Dr. Petty was alluding to, it's very important in relationships, period. Not only with our spouse, with our children, with our children, because obviously, the way we communicate to our spouse, our children are seeing it. They
Mm-hmm.
notice how we act, whether that's verbally, whether that's what's the other word? Physically, they're watching
Physically.
everything. They're sponges, right? So they're watching all the many ways and what's the ways that we speak verbally and non-verbally. So,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Petty, what would you say, or do you have like um, a number one suggestion for, or something of importance that you feel when it comes to communication that's like a must?
The main thing, which will never change, is that you have to be honest and honest without shame.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're honest, you can always repeat the same thing without having to come back to try to cover it with something else. And the tendency, too many times, we give part answers to very simple questions, which become complicated because now we have to come back and add something to it because it gets interpreted a certain way when you could have just said it all to begin with.
And do you think that someone in my struggles with that, is it because and I know it could be a couple of different answers to this, but from what you see, is it mainly just because that person is afraid of what that other person might say or how they'll react, or they're just not wanting to be honest with themselves? Like, what do you think is the main reason behind it?
Well, primarily it's because of uh, unhealed wounds that are consequential, which produces trauma. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
literally, if I say this, how's it going to be taken? What's going to happen with that? And you're having this internal struggle down inside, and the person is never weighed in, and you're battling this thing inside all by yourself. So until that battle is resolved, your internal locus of control, I need to deal with the fact of me.
Yeah.
Now I'm prepared to engage you, but I got to be okay with me in spite of how you respond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I don't, then I'm going to be wearing this facade anyway,
Mm-hmm.
trying to like me.
So what are some ways to do that? Because I know like with me, I can be a good communicator, but I also have those internal thoughts like, well, if I say this, then how are they going to feel? Or I don't want to come off this way, so let me change how I say this. Or so like to get through, I guess that whole internal dialogue that we're having with ourselves, what are some steps that we could take to, besides like going to talk to counseling or counselors, but what are some steps that we can take to help us get through?
All right, so let me give you a live example of uh, I am serving as an interim or transitional pastor at a church, and how it's talked about a pastor in a church is like a marriage. Okay, that literally is how it's viewed. So I'm going to use this marriage with this church that brings in all the dynamics of what you're talking about. So let's say, first of all, this church has a history of being a preacher killer. So tie that in to relationships, somebody who loves to sabotage, somebody who loves to do things. But so as I'm talking about this church, take the terms and put this into a relationship. They have a history of being a preacher killing church. They had been involved with someone who had been in the space for X number of years. Then the last two, they basically ran off as a result of their lack of honesty, their lack of cooperative, their lack of ability to be able to do all of those things. So now here I come along. I engage and I'm being asked, help them to be in the best position to be prepared to receive a pastor. With all of the bad behavior, with all of the passive aggressive nature, with all of those things. So now I become in their minds the same thing that they love to tear down. But they say they want a pastor. Relationship, you see how I go? They say close, intimate relationship with somebody, but their history says they tear things up and are not interested in being open-minded for any new thing outside of themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm welcomed coming in, and it's been a year as of now, and this would be a year-to-year agreement. And right now, they did everything they could to throw on the wall for everything, how awful I am and why am I around in order to run me away, those who have not dealt with their stuff.
Yeah.
Because they are outnumbered by the people who have been open, transparent, wanting to learn, wanting to get better. They have engaged in this dialogue a lot different than the ones who have not, who've wanted to maintain what they've always had, which means don't challenge me, don't stretch me, don't ask me to do something that requires a sacrifice. You just need to do what I'm telling you, and we'll be.
So what I'm hearing you say is a lot of times our issue, number one, we don't want to change.
Right.
And two, we have a hard time receiving because we have these walls up and we want to be able to holler over the walls of what we want, but we don't want to receive anything back, including our own healing or improvement, change, whatever that looks like.
Just leave me alone. Leave me
Yeah.
alone. You know me. You know how I am. Take me like this. I was like this when you met me. Why are you trying to do this? I know what you're doing. You're trying to change me. You're trying to make. You are very controlling. You got all these things. We were doing this. I was doing this long before I met you. Now, what would make you think that I wanted to be with somebody who's interested in changing me? But if you make me happy, we'll be good.
Yeah.
But just don't try to change me now. If you do that, we.
I'm finding more and more that this statement is these days irking me when somebody say something similar to, well, that's just the way I am. Like, okay, well, I understand. There's people who are built certain ways because of our culture norms, because of the parents, the household we were in, our personality that God gave us, certain traits. Like, I get that. But to say that statement is still like a defense. Like you said, don't try to change me because this who I'm gonna be. Don't bother changing me. Don't bother telling me anything because that's my makeup. I'm in this box, and nothing is changing here. So just get used to it. Don't even look for me to change.
Oh yeah, because I was doing just great before I met you. Now, and here you coming along. You met me. You knew what you were getting into, and now all of a sudden, it ain't good enough. That's kind of, and say, here's what I do know. You are what you are right now. The real question is this all that you want to be? So
Yeah.
if I had to give you a quote, it would be, you are what you are right now. And is this all that you want to be? Just let me know so I'll know what I need to do. Because if
Yeah.
this is all that you want to be, then okay, now I have a decision to make.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This might be good for you by yourself,
Yeah.
not good for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would be another topic of communication that seems to be like a barrier?
So change is so complicated. Uh,
Hmm.
now, we're good at adjusting. So we take these two things, take adjusting and then take change. The weather, the temperature has changed right now. We've gone from 80 plus degrees in this area now. You know, if you make 60, you're doing great. Now, that's an adjustment. We can take the thermostat and adjust it down from one number to the other. Let's say we've had it on 68, we move it up to 75. But the 75 is still, you could keep the air on at 75 and still have 75. So I can adjust the temperature. To
Hmm.
change would mean I turn the air off and turn the heat on. Now, if I say that it's cold in here, and then you adjust the temperature so that the numbers show differently, that's not change, that's an adjustment. If I'm
Hmm.
changing, the air goes off and the heat comes on. We just would rather make an adjustment
Yeah,
than a change.
right. And the problem, I mean, you could tell me from your perspective, but my thinking is with adjustments, it doesn't really allow for a long-lasting change. It's a temporary fix because your mindset has not changed. You're just thinking, I'm gonna do this in a moment to appease
That
you or get out of this conversation so you can get off my back. But but at the end of the day,
correct. It's like, oh, okay, oh, you want it to be like that? I'll go get me a blanket. I'll go get me a jacket or
put some socks on.
I'll do that for now. But now
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be doing this forever. I am doing it for now. Now, because if you keep asking me to be like this all day, every day, we're gonna have some real issues.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some real. But the change says I'm making this decision because it serves us best, and it doesn't give me a favorable advantage. It's like this is what's best for us. The biggest problem in relationships where communication occurs would be this: you've got your world, the other person has their world. These two worlds are in conflict. So I'm using my hands now to say these two worlds are in conflict. You know how to operate in this one. They know how to operate in this one, but they're both enclosed. And with their both being enclosed, because it was centered around what you personally had experienced and witnessed. So this is what I know. This is what you know. These two things trying to come together automatically do this.
Hmm.
Now, if we both decided to have our hands like this to say, we need to create a third world, which would be all of this and all of that. Now we both are open and we can shape something that looks like both of us, but it does never become this. The problem is we're too quick to do this,
Hmm.
saying, I need to remain like this so that together we know that we will become like this.
Hmm.
This is what we ultimately become. In the meantime, we're this.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what would you suggest for our couples to start? When if someone is having a hard time with communicating and they're trying to get to a point to where they are communicating better, would you say that the first step is then to have this conversation to where you guys are both letting each other know that I'm putting myself in a place of vulnerability, I'm listening, and I'm open?
It would be along that line of saying, what is more important, having your way, me having you having, or is what's going to be us? Say that there's three ways we can do this. It can be dominated by you, it can be dominated by me, or it can be what's best for us. So we have to make that decision up before we can have that healthy dialogue about what's going to be best for us. It has to be,
Mhm.
what is more important? Is this relationship bigger than both of us together? If that's the case, then that means I don't have a right to throw all my stuff on you. You don't have a right to throw all your stuff on me. We need to get that clear up front. If we don't have, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. You're going to say something and I'm going to shut down, and now it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Decide that I don't need a key to that room to keep you out, that you can come in here anytime you want. You can rearrange anything that you want because I'm trusting you to have our best interest. Then, unless I've come to that place, then we're going to always have this. It's just a matter of time because I did not remain open enough. We may have gotten to this point, not here yet, but we may have gotten to this point and there was a little more tweaking is needed. And am I willing to step back, realize something else needs to be here in order to do that? If
Yeah.
I sight of what this looks like, I'm going here.
Is
Yeah.
this essentially like a response to like a traumatic event or just upbringing or like the closing off? Because I love when you use the analogies of the two worlds and then coming together, but the closing off, it could that be a traumatic response or just a cultural type thing or just something that was taught?
It's a control response.
Mm.
I run this. Let me call the shots. Let me do it. Just think about it. When you've had enough, you're not trying to hear what anybody else has to say. It's like at that point, you're in fight mode, survival mode, and I'm not really trying to hear you. So now I go into control. It's control, protect, control, protect. Primarily, if I can control it, I'm not overly concerned about protecting if I can control it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what will happen is that now you lay down the law, it's rigid. You know, oh, you're not doing this right. Now you become critical because when control comes in, you become critical and then you become insensitive. All these things start coming together when ultimately it was about me having my way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people of faith sing the song, have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way, thou art the part that way. But when we get into our stuff, it's like, I want my way, Lord. I want my way. Step aside now. I'll let you know what to say. That's that's kind of what that's like. And
Yeah.
then you ain't feeling godly, you're not feeling kind, you're not feeling compassion. You locked in on yourself.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I was just thinking about it's been a couple ways lately where I feel like the Holy Spirit has just been showing how many ways that God works through relationships and how some of our biggest lessons on relationship with people and them not really realizing like the ways in which you are repeating things in all of your relationships, not just one of them. So what does that reflect and show you with your own relationship with God? If he uses marriage as like one of the ultimate ways to represent his relationship with the bride, and us looking at ourselves and say, so what does our relationship look like with God? Does that mean that I'm not listening? Does that mean I'm not putting myself in a place to receive? Am I telling him no, I don't want to change because I'm trying to stay here? I don't want to look this way to the world. I want to still come off to be this way, so that people aren't thinking I'm this instead, just worrying about what everybody else thinks.
It's so tied in together. Our natural makeup is to seek ease, comfort, and pleasure. Just
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to think about it. Hey, uh, what do you want? What do you want your day to look like? Hey, I don't want no drama. I want to eat what I want to eat, and I don't want nobody bothering me when I don't want to be bothered. Well, basically, what I've said is ease, comfort, and pleasure. As long as you do that, if you don't come around me unless I say come around me, because you're interrupting me. So, like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. You know, I know you my husband. I know you my wife. But if I ain't feeling like being bothered with you right now, I don't want no parts of you either.
And that still sounds like control. I
It's
mean, like and I understand, I can see it from both sides because I can understand where, your spouse might need a little bit of space. Maybe they're trying to figure something out, work through something, had a rough day or whatever. But to just be flat out like, hey, I don't care what you need. I don't care what else went on with your day. I just know what I need. And what I need is for you to leave me alone.
yeah, yeah. And and say that's not a bad thing. But if we're like this, we can say, hey, you know what? I need an hour, and
Yeah.
and I know that, and if you can just give me an hour so I can process things the right,
Yeah. Right.
only like this. If you don't stay like this, you're going here. And the other one is saying, hey, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. You're done. You are done. Now I'm going to do some things that I'm going to have to patch back up later because I don't want to be bothered. And we didn't deal with this because if that's our world together, we both at different points in times for different reasons may need to have that. And if we're okay, then we're okay. But we've decided to build this in because we both know it might take more for you than it does for me. But when I reach that point, I need it too.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because I am definitely a person that I'm quick to say, just please, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone because I get so overstimulated. But then I'll come back like after an hour or whatever, and it's like, okay, I just needed to let the thoughts do what they were gonna do or whatever. So yeah, I think that's really, I think it is important to just have that time to, I guess, be alone. I don't know. I'm a person that I need that, I guess. I don't know.
Well, we all need to have it available without trying to make it such a crisis when it does show up, because it's not like it shows up any day, every day, all days. But if I know, it's like, think of it like PTO. You're not using it all the time, but if you just know that it's there, you know you can do it. But it's not like every day you're going in and saying PTO day, PTO day. You know what? I'm sick of you. It's but at least you know that it's there and you take the step. Which would say then, if we've been having this conversation and you just let me know, hey, it's checkout time, and whatever the case might be, then I'm okay. And you can just let me know what's good. But that conversation has to take place prior to. And here's the thing, we don't have a problem doing it in what we consider to be a less intimate relationship. We make exceptions all the time. It's in this other one where you don't get a break. You know, a break like you my husband, you my wife, and and you either cherish them or run over them. And sometimes they're happening at the same time. I love you, but that's the whole thing. I mean, that hand from wrapping your arms around them to a backhand happens just like that.
So what would you I know we talked about this a little bit before in marriage conversations, and of course all y'all audience wasn't there. But there's a lot of times where it seems that in a relationship that you have the person who is quicker to shut down,
Right.
don't say anything, and
Right.
then you have this other person who's like ready. Let's talk about this. I don't want to sweep it on the rug. I don't
Yeah.
want us walking around here acting like nothing happened.
Yeah.
So what would you say would be a good couple of steps or walking into that? Because it's one thing to say, give me an hour or two.
Right.
It's another thing to be walking around for days, and both of them are in this controlled
Yeah.
state. Both of them are in this place of like agony because you got one who's just waiting and dying to have this conversation because they don't want the energy that's
Yeah.
going on, but you got the other one that's fretting to talk about it because they don't want the confrontation.
So you got to go back to the original premise. We need to do a reset. And the reset is in a non-crisis time. And we ask ourselves, are we where we want to be? I mean, this is just a real conversation. It's not threatening when there's not a crisis. We're just having a conversation. Hey, I've been thinking, are we where we really want to be? And once you both recognize, no, that we're not, then is say, let's talk about what we don't need that keeps getting in our way. Now it's allowing you to work toward putting in place those things that don't take you to those spaces like you're describing, because that's a challenge when you find that I ask for time, but I'm never saying to you time out. I just ask for time. And now you got me over here wondering, and now I'm getting a little tick because you taking advantage of me and you know I really want to talk and you don't want to talk. Well, now then we got to get rid of that. We got to know that's not good for us because recovery time actually takes too long. So it's got to go back to the beginning and say, are we where we need? Let's do a reset and clean this stuff out that we know isn't good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you were rehabbing the house, if you were getting rid of the furniture to pick up something else, you know, the only way you're going to do it, you got to get the rest of it out of there. Then decide what will go where. And it might not be where the other pieces were beforehand because it's different type of furniture, different type of layout. And your whole goal of changing it was to make it fit you at this present time.
Yeah.
That's a hard conversation to have because now we both have to admit we're flawed. We're flawed and we didn't bring our best to this situation. But thank God we have an opportunity to do it right now.
Yeah. So what would you say to the spouse who is because I'm really more so thinking about the spouse who shuts down. You know, I know it's a matter of like control, but I also recognize that somebody may have really, as Adrian was alluding to earlier, they might have went through a traumatic experience. They might have witnessed abuse growing up. They might have seen, you know, some heavy or negative ramifications of expressing their feelings because they were taught to shut up, don't cry, don't express your feelings, don't say man up, whatever. So, you know, whatever the reasons are that are attached to that control, what would you suggest to that person who is having a hard time knowing where to start? Because they may say, I recognize that I'm flawed. Yeah, I don't like where we are, but I don't know the next step. Because while our generation, this generation, is getting better at opening up and releasing some of these things, some of them are still having a hard time knowing where to start.
The reality is, if you don't do it, it's going to resurface again and it's going to be worse than it was the previous time because the thing has become embedded even more and it becomes until eventually it becomes a stronghold.
Mhm.
Now you begin to toy with strongholds as if they're normal and they're not normal at all. In
Mhm.
spite of the hurt, the pain we've experienced, and we could find hundreds of people who fall into that category. The question is, do you want your life controlled by that? And that's the literal question. Do you
Right,
want to be controlled by it or do you want to be healed from it? Now you
right.
have a decision. Now, if you don't want to be healed from it, then that means there's some things you're not going to do. But
Yeah,
if you heal from it, then you're going to take some other steps and you won't just keep saying, well, you know, the reason why I'm doing this because no, and after a while, it got to be now you're protecting being a snake breeder and that you know what this snake does. It's going to end up biting and say, well, I thought I had shown him not to bite folk. Well, what is he going to do? If he's a poisonous snake, what is he going to do? Other
yeah,
than that, you're building and breeding these things because you didn't get rid of it. And at some point, you might be better at it than you might have been,
yeah,
but still is sitting there waiting to come out. So it's got to be, do you want to be healed from it? And
yeah,
that has to be answered.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, you're nursing the same thing and it's just a matter of time.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree
People
with you more.
people that sit in that space, is that like an addiction to, or well, I don't want to say addiction, but is it like like, is there a reason? I'm trying to get my words. Is there a reason, like a main reason for them wanting to just hold on to that without like is it
So so let's take it to a deeper level. It's a spirit of seduction. And when you're under a seducing spirit, at that point, your will has been compromised. And so then what you do is you begin to yield to that. So those individuals become so comfortable with it
Mm-hmm.
that it's normal, natural, because they don't understand you've been seduced and have decided to cooperate with this spirit of seduction. Well, I guess this is where I'll always be. I guess it's where it is because uh, my mama was like this. I got a sibling who's like this. And you start building a case as far as the dysfunction is concerned, knowing that cycles can be broken if there's a commitment to it, in spite of it all. So during my uh, consultation with the doctor today, and and this is one of the most brilliant minds. So literally, this is the first time that I've gotten with him. He's my new primary care. We both sit on the board for SSM. So I've heard him talk about the whole medical approach. And so as this conversation went on, not only we talk about medicine, but then we talk about perspective. And it boils down that if you're serious, you can shift your perspective in 72 hours about anything.
Yeah.
Given the right set of information, given the right facts, and then you just got to decide. I'm not supporting or doing this. I'm going to be ending up doing it. But it has everything to do with whether or not you want to make the change.
It starts with a decision.
That's great. If you don't want to make the change, you're going to build a case to stay the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%.
Now, so therefore, you can't make a person want to change. You can help them to see the benefit of it, but they have to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, their decision determines how you respond to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make sure that your response to them is consistently pointing them in the direction of what's going to be best without it being punitive, but it's continuing. Well, I know the last time that I went to the grocery store and you told me to pick this up for you, to pick this wine, alcohol, whatever the case might have been, and you said you're trying to stop, but because I'm going, you're telling me to pick it up. Well, I just need to let you know I have picked up the last one. If you want it, you got to get it yourself. I'm not walking alongside of that. I'm not going to condemn you, but I'm not going to get it for you.
Right.
Be clear. That's not going to happen. Well, obviously, that's going to trigger something in them. But what it also is letting them know, no, I'm not contributing to what's not going to be best for us. That
Yeah.
becomes a strong position that you have to take. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be feeding the thing that's taking them down.
Yeah.
Now you're not enabling. You're very clear. This is where I stand. I'm going to walk with you, but I'm not going to walk with you like that. Now, when we start doing more of that,
Mm-hmm.
everything begins to change.
Yeah.
Mm. Well,
It's just
before we wrap on up, because I see we're coming to the end of time, are there any final thoughts or encouragement that you would like to share as
So,
far as like communicating and things like that?
so it would be to always ask this question:
Mhm.
why are you doing this in the first place? These are the questions that you're asking. Why am I doing this in the first place? 2, did I enter into this relationship to be happy and to grow, or to be miserable and go back in the other direction? And I have to be able to answer that question myself. And the third thing is, am I committed to the long haul for things to be at their best? And each person in the relationship has to be able to answer those questions, because it's going to require both of them in order for it to change. It does not matter how much change you make in a relationship. If the other person is not on board, you may have to change 9 things, and they may only have to change 3. But if they don't change the 3, the 9 you've changed will not make it the high quality relationship it really ought to be. There has to be the buy-in, and I can't point my finger because I only have 3 things I need to adjust, and you got 9. Well, at least I ain't got all that. That's the other side. At least I ain't got all that to deal with. Well, but wait a minute. Your 3 things are just as potent because they are affecting our well-being.
Yeah.
So let's just be very clear. Let's be that don't even try, because I had 5 3-ounce shots and you all over me, and you went on a meth rage one time, and you telling me about my 5 3-ounce shots, and you a flat out meth head. It's like, now what were you just saying? We see the evidence in you meth head. Okay, but we're not even calling you that, but it's just the reality.
Right.
Oh, but you meth head. I'm looking at you. Your head looks funny. Your mouth looks funny. Everything about you it tells on you. And at least I don't do this all the time, but every time you do this, everybody knows it.
That's where they come operating in an adult body as a little kid. Well, at least I don't. But at least I don't.
That I mean, yeah,
Right.
that.
Oh my
Then
gosh.
you doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So they both stink. So don't try to tell me about it. They both stink, don't they? They both
Yeah. Right.
you
Right.
telling me about this, and our problem is funk is in the house, and you telling me mine is worse. Come on now, like for real, we got to deal with it when either one of us does it. So let's be very clear. Whether I did 2 or 3, there was still funk in the house, and so it's like now. So let's get back to it. Now, do we want this to be a good thing or not? Now, because otherwise we're gonna be sitting up here pointing the finger at each other, and this ain't going nowhere fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, everyone. We thank you, Dr. Petty, for joining us
Yes.
today.
Thank you.
We are going to quickly close out because we have less than a minute. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Hit all the buttons. Don't forget, a good thing is not hard to find,
But it takes work to keep it.
it sure does. We thank you again, Dr. Petty, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Right. Hey, all right. Thanks. Talk to you all
All
later.
right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.